Hello and welcome to the 25th installment of my Pokémon Generation 3 ROM hacking series. The focus of this tutorial is to learn how to import and replace Pokémon Cries. To do this, we'll be utilizing a tool called Cry Editor by Esperance. This video will be broken down to the following segments. How do I properly insert a new Cry? And what are the implications of compressed versus uncompressed Cry inserting? Editing Cries is actually a whole lot easier than you might think. Before we can begin doing anything, we need to load a ROM, so go ahead and do that. Once a ROM is loaded, a list of every Pokémon available will appear. Clicking on one of these entries will show you a map of the Cry. You can listen to it by clicking Cry, Play. In this demonstration, we're going to replace Bulbasaur's Cry, which sounds like this, with Arceus's Cry. Before doing this, however, you need to have a copy of Arceus's Cry available on your computer. Cry Editor works with .wav files. Luckily for us, there's a resource out there that has every Cry from Gen 1 through Gen 7 consolidated for us in a .wav format. I'll post a link to this resource in the description of this video. After downloading the Cries, go back into the Cry Editor and click Cry Import. Load the Arceus .wav sound file. If you play the sound, you should hear something like this. If you think it sounds much more crackly and distorted than it should, then you're right. The reason for this distortion has to do with the compressed checkbox. When a sound is compressed, its file size is reduced, but we typically lose some sound quality at the same time. We want to avoid this wherever possible. In order to fix this, we need to insert the Cry as uncompressed. We can do this by unchecking the compressed checkbox, then re-importing Arceus's Cry. If you play it, it should sound like this, which is much more stable than this. After inserting the Cry, you need to save your changes before clicking on another Pokémon from the list. To do this, click File, Save. Cry Editor will find some free space for you in the ROM. Choose one of these offsets and click OK. Here's the result of our insertion. The Cry was successfully inserted. To wrap things up, I want to cover one more feature Cry Editor offers. In addition to importing sound, you can export them as .wav files too. To do this, simply click Cry, Export. There's not much of a reason to do this since you should already have every Cry from Gen 1 through Gen 7 downloaded, but just in case you're looking to maybe extract a custom Cry from some ROM hack or something, the option is available. That's everything I plan to discuss in this tutorial. Hopefully you all learned something valuable from this, and if you have any questions, please feel free to ask either over at Poké Community or right here in my video's comment section. Thank you so much for being my audience, and I'll be back in the 26th installment of this series.